we got a situation. We got a situation. And unfortunately, it involves the kiddos, man. You hate to see kids involved in any of these types of situations, but unfortunately, again, like I always say, you can't choose your parents. You can't, unfortunately. But this one has a 4-year-old who exposes his family's horrifying secret. Let's get to it.
We're gonna talk, okay? You wanna sit down? Tell me about mommy or daddy or somebody else.
My dad is bad now.
Your dad is bad now? Tell me about dad being bad now.
What happened at the house with your wife, with Jasmine?
I don't remember. Mom, she got everywhere. AK-47.
AK-47? Okay.
What did you do?
The fact at his age that he knows and is able to identify the type of no, that's a no.
Yeah, how many kids you got?
I got 5 kids. And 4 times and 3 times.
Okay.
On March 4th, 2022, a mother's worst nightmare occurred for Jasmine Serena. A man armed with a gun entered her home. He would notice 4 children watching television in their living room. They would freeze up and look at him in horror, unable to do anything. But the man would pass by. He wasn't looking to harm Jasmine's children. Instead, he made his way over to the kitchen where Jasmine was standing and shot. 3 bullets struck Jasmine, and she was left in critical condition, lying helplessly in her kitchen. The suspect left the scene in a hurry, thinking she was done for. But unfortunately for him, Jasmine managed to survive. Despite her critical condition, she managed to call 911 and ask for help. Officer Baker was the first cop to arrive at the scene. Seeing all the kids surrounding their mother, crying for help, she was immediately transferred to the El Paso hospital by helicopter. Now it's a race against time for doctors. With each passing second, her chances of survival rapidly decrease. And for the detectives, they needed to find their suspect fast before he struck another innocent victim. Right now, they needed any clue that could lead them to the possible killer, so multiple officers would go back to the crime scene to take a closer look at exactly what just went down.
Okay, so I have bullets, or casings, excuse me. One there, one on the table. I have one where she was sitting, or where I found her.
Leaning against the thing.
Was her feet
she was
facing
standing?
us? Yeah, because you can see there's impacts right there and right there.
Oh, okay.
And there's another casing back over there on the floor.
Okay.
That guy here, she's sitting facing me with her legs out. She had a strike here, here, and what looks like a through and through here with her shirt up. She had nothing that went through completely on the back.
Oh, so the rounds are in here? I thought it was a round like
No, she's distended.
Okay.
What would possess somebody to come in your home with your kids and walk past the kids into the kitchen where you off and let off a bunch of shots into you? What would make a person that mad that they had no regard and don't care about how anything else but executing you? How does a person get to that point?
It's all internal right here.
According to the police report, the victim, Jasmine Serena, took 2 bullets to her abdomen and the 3rd bullet landed right in her leg. Despite her critical condition, she gathered the little energy she had and told Officer Baker the attacker's name.
She said that it was Julian that did it. Valenzuela.
That was the name of her own husband, Julian Valenzuela. and the father of 4 children who just saw their dad shoot their mom. However, this wasn't the only thing she was able to tell the cops. Jasmine also mentioned the car Julian drove to the house before shooting, a red sedan. In a matter of seconds, all patrols nearby received a notification to stop any red sedans they saw on the streets of Las Cruces. While Julian's vehicle was being tracked down, Officer Dollar, along with his partner, had a different task. It was reported Julian was living at this house. With him being on the run, police think there's a chance he could be hiding in the home. So the 2 officers would make their way into the home in hopes to find a surrendered
Oh no, where's SWAT? Where's SWAT at? Ain't no way we just sending 2 officers there and he just did that to her. No. Bring more. We need more. We need the force. Ain't that what they call it? The force. We need the whole. Empty it. No. We need to surround this joker.
Julian, or at least a clue of where he might be.
Yeah, it's wide open front and back. It's cluttered, just abandoned.
Las Cruces Police Department, anybody inside the residence, come out to the sound of my voice!
There was no other choice but to enter the house forcibly and make sure the suspect wasn't hiding inside. For all they know, Julian could be waiting for them, and knowing he's armed, tensions are as high as ever for these cops.
Yeah, I don't know who taught them how to enter a house or that didn't look like he could have got them easily.
You can't get into these things. Oh. 85549 on Lester and Shannon. Jesus Christ.
After searching the remaining rooms inside the house, the suspect was nowhere to be found. But just as they thought they would be coming out with nothing, they received this message on the radio.
Subject 5 is limited 49 right now. Red Hyundai at high rate of speed was last seen going towards Idaho. We're still getting.
An exact description of the car Julian used to flee the scene just near their position, a red Hyundai Elantra. Officer Dollar wastes no time and hops into his car. He must get to the suspect as fast as possible before the police lose track of him again.
Vehicle should have a black bumper per the note, possibly headed towards Lester, and it's going to be a newer model.
25 southbound on Espina, high rate of speed, just past Gardner.
Copy, southbound Espina, high rate of speed.
Pursuit authorized. Suspect on a gunshot victim. Alright, he's gonna stop. He's stopping in Milton. He's got a gun! Central, he just shot at me 3 or 4 times on 2-4.
Is anyone with 855?
The pursuit continued until the suspect closed into the intersection of University Wave and Espina Street. A red light was shining bright for Julian to stop, but he didn't care and pushed on the gas. And just as he thought he could make it across, the suspect plummets right into a silver car, knocking the innocent driver to the side of the road. The officers in pursuit sped up to the crash, but they can't rush to apprehend him just yet, as he already fired multiple rounds at Detective Dollar just a minute ago, and there was every reason to believe he will do it again. So they have to be ready to take Julian down if he makes any sudden moves.
Show me your fucking hands! Do it now! Do it now! Show me your hands! Get off the ground!
Under multiple gun sights, the suspect has no other choice than to step out of the car and lie on the ground. Although he looks disabled, this doesn't satisfy Officer Dollar and his colleagues. From what they know,
Hey, that wouldn't satisfy me. Them fired multiple shots at me. Oh, bro. Oh, bro. This is why I can't be no cop like that, fam. Cause it ain't over. You just tried to take me out. You tried to make sure I didn't make it home to my family. Cut the body cams off. Everybody cut your body cams off. Yeah. I'm on that type of time. See, this is why I know better. I know better. I can't do that because I can't let that go.
Oh, the suspect is still armed and could be pretending to be injured to try and catch them by surprise. Officer Dollar wasn't going to take any chances, so he decided to deploy a different weapon to make the suspect obey their commands.
I got the dog.
And that dog back there chomping at the bit. I was hoping he was gonna say that. Let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out? You let the dogs out.
Stay. Crawl forward.
Right now, Julian seems disabled enough. A crash that could have killed him only left him with a concussion. He can't even stand up. Using a canine in this scenario would be an overkill. But Officer Dollar had already made up his mind a few moments ago.
Oh no! Send this dog! Ready?
But this is where officers would go too far, and it would actually impact this entire case later on. Officer Dollar's dog would bite into Julian just like instructed. However, it would take 2 minutes of struggle to make the dog finally let go of the suspect's flesh. The law doesn't prohibit a dog to bite and hold the suspect. However, the important part of using a canine is to make sure the suspect does not sustain unnecessary injuries during the arrest. Officer Dollar's canine succeeded at holding the suspect, but this is where the officer met a serious challenge.
So what does it say when he fired at me? He fired at me. I get it. He was on the ground. He didn't look like it. But how can you tell? We walk up, he pulls something out, unloads. See, this is that whole gray area type area. And it's hard for you to tell me to stop after you done fired at me, my adrenaline rushing. Look, like, yeah, this is why I can't do it. Y'all continuing to prove, no, ain't no way I could do this.
He could not make the dog release the suspect. Even after being subdued and posing no further harm to the police officers, the dog continued to hold onto the suspect's arm, causing him more injuries. This is a clear case of excessive force, and would impact the rest of this case. Dollar's decision to use canine will be reviewed and reevaluated as the investigation into the case progresses. But for now,
I get it. Once my cooler head prevails, I'll understand it and be able to think logically. But the person who got shot at, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dude was in pursuit of him. Dude stops, gets out, and busts at him multiple times, then gets back in the car and pulls off. Yeah, I'm thinking about making it home.
Suspect's bite wounds were too severe to ignore, and his overall condition suggested heavy alcohol intoxication or even worse. So to make sure Julian lived long enough to face justice, the cops decided to get him to the hospital and treat his wounds. While this team of officers was transporting the suspect, another team at the crime scene was collecting evidence to build a strong case against Julian and charge him for his evil crime. But there was a problem. They didn't know who he really was and how the crime first unfolded. His wife was in critical condition and her kids were too traumatized to talk with law enforcement, at least for now. The only hope they've got lies in the hands of witnesses. Only their stories could reveal how much of an awful person Julian really is. And luckily for the officers, the witnesses were not afraid to speak out against this monster.
What'd you see, man? I was over there, right across the stop sign. Like, on the other side of the stop sign? Yeah, and then me and my cousin, we're looking in front of us, and we're just like, we see a car speeding so fast, right? And it's like, we're looking at him, and he's mad dogging us, really mad looking dude. What did he look like? He saw his face more than me. I went inside. What was the car? Like maroonish, reddish. It was a Hyundai, a Elantra. And they started screaming, and they were having, and like he went in there, and I guess they were having an argument. And I heard like pop, pop, pop 3 times. I think he unloaded probably more than 5. 5? Yeah, probably more than 5. And And that's whenever he came outside, and then that's whenever I was like, he's actually shooting. So we like ran back inside. He got in his car and like he shot like that way.
He shot that way?
Like yeah, towards the truck. He just went like this and he shot
towards that way, right?
Towards this way, yeah, somewhere over there. The officer, the bald officer, I see his car come on here and they meet. And he throws a shot and leaves. When he was coming this way was whenever we saw the cop. So we waved at him and we're like, he just shot somebody. And then the car went that way. And then right as soon as he got like a little bit past that little Mitsubishi truck, he shot again towards over there. Well, I don't know if he shot up or I don't know where he shot, but we were already running inside.
If what these eyewitnesses are telling is true, then the whole shooting had a long and steady build-up to it. But what the next witness had to say would give officers even more disturbing insight into Julian's terrifying actions.
But the other night, they had domestics, and she was yelling, "You're gonna f*** me," and he had her by his hair, and he was socking her, dragging her outside, just socking her.
When was that?
Like 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago?
Yeah, 2 nights ago, wasn't it, Marissa? They were yelling.
Like, we always hear them fighting and arguing.
Yeah, and
was she on the ground?
yeah, and he was dragging her out of her house, and she was like this, and he had her, and he was, throwing punches to her. And then the day after that, she was parked right here. It was early in the morning. I just got back from taking the kids to school. I saw her in her car, and the kids were still back there, and she was sitting in the front seat, and he was on the other side, and it looked like they were arguing in the vehicle. And she started hitting her head on the steering wheel and punching the steering wheel, and they were arguing. And finally, he got out of her vehicle, and then, he took off. And then the next day, that's when he had her by the hair, dragging her out. And she was yelling, "You're gonna f*** me."
Not only did Julian physically abuse his wife, but also threatened her life.
And y'all want me to be upset that a dog got a hold to him. Something else should have got a hold to him, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But I get it. That don't mean I gotta like it.
Life multiple times before actually going and fulfilling those threats. There was only one person left to question, Jasmine herself, the victim of this twisted crime. Only she could tell the true story behind closed doors. That is, if she would ever recover from this vicious attack. Doctors could not promise her survival. 2 shots to the abdomen are too severe for any person to survive. Likely, it was already too late for her. That's why the officers transporting Julian to the hospital needed Julian to survive. They wanted to hear his side of the story and understand one simple question. What drove him to try and take the life of his own wife and the mother of his 4 little boys? But when they finally arrived at the hospital, cops quickly ran into a new problem.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What the whole yeah. So stop kicking. It hurts. I bet. Shut the fuck up. You shut up. Is that?
Hey, there's sick people.
Hey, calm down. You understand me?
You better calm down before we go get that dog again. Yeah. Huh? You got something to say? K9 right outside, bruh. We can go get him right now.
You calm down.
There's kids around here, dude. They don't hear that. I know you don't, but I do.
What do you guys need from her?
I stopped with the this is what happens.
Nurses, Michael.
Drop my feet, dude. No. Drop my feet.
I'll say right now, you're not.
Yeah, I heard that, right? There might be your motive right there. Him saying he slept with the name he called her. Might be. What other reason does a man get that mad with a woman? Maybe he caught her cheating. Maybe his homeboys was sleeping with her, something like that. Never justifies the action though, but maybe that's what it is.
I'm not gonna like this, so I'm gonna try to get you to calm down. Okay, we're gonna photograph your injuries. I'm not gonna play. Ow! Ow! You understand?
I saw a dog bird.
Okay. Well, we asked the doctor, so.
How can you shoot me?
Lady, let's go, man. Let's go, man. Wake up, man.
You gonna sit on this wheelchair?
We're wheeling you out to the car, okay?
Right after the crash, the police discovered a pistol with an empty magazine along with several half-empty bottles of beer inside. This explains Julian's erratic behavior during and after the arrest. Additionally, on his way to the police station, Julian admitted to shooting his wife in cold blood, all without interrogation. But as you'll soon see during the questioning, even details like this can suddenly vanish, because once they brought Julian to the interrogation room, he had already forgotten everything.
Having those in mind, do you want to talk to me, kind of give me your version of what's been happening and whatnot?
No, what's happening? I've been drinking for 3 days. Just seeing our cow from eyes.
Well, if you want to keep them closed and it's easier for you to talk that way and you're not struggling, that's fine. Just don't fall asleep. Was there anything other than alcohol you were drinking?
No.
What type of alcohol you drink? Budweiser's? Okay. Can or bottle? Bottles? Okay. So why for 3 days? What's been going on? You and your old lady been having some problems?
No.
Huh?
This only confirms why Julian is so visibly intoxicated, and it's honestly a surprise he's even able to understand and talk with the officer. Still, his condition might complicate the interrogation process. After all, alcohol can lead to lapses in memory. He simply might not remember the events of that evening, a perfect excuse for someone like him in this situation. But
who still drinks Budweiser? That let me know a lot right there within itself. And then if he would have said a can, I'd have been like, oh, he's psycho. Oh, he definitely psycho. Drinking Budweiser in a can still to this day? Oh, yeah. You different.
This isn't going to be good enough for Detective Melinda to accept, so he keeps pressing for a confession.
What happened at the house with your wife? With Jasmine?
I remember.
I think you do, because you told them what happened.
I remember going in there. Some food.
Where'd you pull the gun out from?
My pocket.
Which pocket did you have it in?
I remember.
What type of gun is it?
I don't know what kind of gun it is. I don't even know what's going on. I just know I cannot see nothing.
Okay,
I'm trying to open my eyes.
That's fine, dude. I don't want you to see anything. I want you to remember things and talk to me about things.
I can't even keep my eyes open. That's never happened to me.
Little did Detective Melinda realize that getting any information from this suspect was going to be the most challenging thing he had to do in his career. But it doesn't stop him from using the oldest trick in the book to make Julian talk.
Were you guys arguing? Were you fighting? What are you sorry for?
Sorry. No one. Whatever I did.
So let's go back to you pulled a gun out of your pocket, right?
No.
No? So everything you've told officers that is on camera, now you're saying you don't remember.
I don't.
But here's the thing, Julian. You've already said what happened.
What said?
In the situation.
What did I do?
No. You said what happened. The officers have already told us.
Is she okay?
You want to know if she's okay from what?
Oh, that's obvious. What?
What's obvious?
Well, what happened?
You tell me.
I love her every day.
What's been going on? Like, is she doubting how much you love her? Did you get caught doing something you weren't supposed to be doing?
No. It's nothing like that.
Do you guys just have arguments here and there?
Julian might not remember this too, but there are plenty of people who can speak about his abuse of people weaker than him. At this point, Detective Melinda barely holds himself together. For him, getting any meaningful information out of Julian is almost impossible. However, there is still one more thing Detective Melinda can use to make Julian talk. In fact, what he doesn't know is that his kids are in the same building with him, just above this interrogation room. They were brought here to the police station to decide their father's fate. And they're about to reveal exactly what went down mere hours earlier. But before we get...
Listen, if you got kids, then you know they gonna tell the truth at a certain age, because they don't know that whole, hey, this is gonna... No, they gonna tell the truth, unfiltered, how it went down, how you held the gun, what you was wearing, what they was watching on TV. They gonna put you out there, bro. They gonna put you out there, so... And as they should, you just traumatize them for life. So they should.
But we have to get back to Julian Valenzuela, because his own children are about to expose him and what exactly went down that night. However, interrogating a child is no easy task for cops. That's why the police department recruited 2 professional child psychologists to discover more details of Julian's murder attempt from these 4 young minds. Still, kids may be uneducated, but they won't tell you anything unless you become their friend. And these female psychologists knew exactly how to do it. In 1.5 hours, they will build trust with all 4 kids: 4-year-old Julian, 5-year-old Benjamin, 6-year-old Matthew, and 10-year-old Isaiah, and talk about how daddy their own mommy, not even realizing they will maximize their father's sentence behind bars. Benjamin was the first kid to be asked about what he saw that fateful evening.
Do you like to color? Yeah. Yeah? Here, I got some paper right here. And then, you want me to move it closer? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to write your name. And your name is Benjamin. Is that right? Yeah. Benjamin Valenzuela. Benjamin Valenzuela? Yeah? How old are you, Benjamin? 5. You're 5? Benjamin, I'm going to draw your face right here, okay? No. Do you play with anybody? Do you have any brothers or sisters or something else? Brother. You have brothers? So I'm going to put Matthew. Valenzuela. Matthew Valenzuela. And then Isaiah. Valenzuela. Isaiah Valenzuela. Yeah.
Drawing their faces, writing down the names of their siblings, and asking about their favorite things, all minor but important things to elicit positive emotions in Benjamin's mind. That is, until they start talking about their father and what he did to Jasmine.
Tell me about, mommy or daddy or somebody else. My dad is bad now. Your dad is bad now? Tell me about dad being bad now. My dad... My mom. Your dad shot your mom? And then what happened? And my mom, they got no weapon. Mom don't got no weapons? And then you said dad is bad now because he shot mom? Yeah. Yeah? What did you... Don't his name. Don't put his name? Hey. Okay, I won't put his name. Okay. Where?
Even the kid don't want to have nothing to do with you. Nothing to... Bro, this is sad. This is because if you think about the long-term effects this is gonna have, this is tragic, man. Oh.
Where did mom get? On the stomach everywhere. On the stomach everywhere? What did he shoot mom with? With his pistol. With his pistol? What did the pistol look like? AK-47. AK-47? Okay. But I was at the living room. I saw Daddy shot Mom. You were at the living room and you saw Daddy shot Mom? What did Daddy say when he shot Mom? He was just crying and yelling, and my dad just shot Mom. Well, thank you for telling me what happened to Mom.
Despite Benjamin being a well-spoken kid, his mind might be a little confused. Because, well, there's no such thing as an AK-47 pistol. This may be a child's imagination, but how does he know what an AK-47 is? Was it something his dad talked about, or even owned at one point? For young Benjamin, it didn't matter. He was too afraid to remember.
Benjamin, tell me, do you ever feel scared? When do you feel scared? Of the shot. Of the shot? Yeah. No one was fighting? No. Only my dad was fighting, and then he shot him with this one, and he shot with this one, and then loaded it up, and then boom. He shot it with this one and loaded up, and then boom, shot him? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Benjamin, tell me, do you feel safe with Mommy? Yeah? How about with Daddy? Do you feel safe with Daddy? No. No? No, No, because Daddy and my mom are there. Okay. Well, thank you, Benjamin, for letting me learn about you. You want to go back into the other room and play? Yeah. Yeah? What are you playing in the other room? Who are you playing with? With Matthew and I think. Okay.
As Benjamin leaves the room, the psychologist returns.
Whew, that's tough to watch. If you got kids, you can only imagine, man. That's traumatizing and that's tough to watch. All right, let's take a brief break for the next kid come in. I know this is rough. It gotta be done, but it's rough. We're gonna get through it though.
Turns to prepare the room for the next kid, 4-year-old Julian. They follow the same steps to establish a positive connection before moving on to the most important part of this conversation.
Julian, tell me about a mommy or a daddy or something else. Draw Daddy, actually. Draw Daddy? Daddy's really big. Daddy's really big? Yeah. He has a big stomach. Daddy has a big stomach? Yeah. So all that. That's right. Daddy just my mom was on the floor in the kitchen and Daddy had a gun and he mom right here. So you said last night your daddy mom? Yeah, right here. So mom right here and right here and right here? Yeah, and mom's in the hospital now. And mom's in the hospital now? Yeah.
So far, Julian's story of what happened sounds similar to what his brother Benjamin told. Still, there is something Julian told so suddenly that it even surprised the psychologist.
Dad comes and the cops come and there's 4 cops and there's the gangsters. There's the gangsters there? Yeah. Who are the gangsters? For shooting. Do you know the gangsters? Yeah. What are their names, the gangsters? Ryan and Saturday.
It's hard to assess if it's the kid's imagination or if his father hung out with criminals in their own house. The thing is, little Julian remembers their name. So it might be the case that those gangsters not only knew his father, but also provided him with the guns, including the AK and a shotgun. Now it's up to the psychologist to get to the bottom.
So that kid wasn't wrong. He might have confused the guns a little bit, but he knows what he's probably been seen or shown inside that house. House of Horrors is what that house is, bro. House of Horrors.
Of this disturbing information.
Tell me, what did Dad mom with? With the gun. With the gun? Mom was messing with Daddy. Mom was messing with Daddy? She was yelling at him and now he's right here. What was she saying when she was yelling at him? She said, okay. You said that Dad's mom and that she was laying on the floor in the kitchen? And he her 4 times, 3 times. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to talk about today? Yeah. Yeah? Tell me. Me and Matthew were fighting. You and Matthew were fighting? Yeah. And then what happened? Ran to the TV and when they was playing Gossip Donald and the little TV. On the little TV? Yeah, I spawned it in the TV where Bear was playing Gossip Donald. There's Franklin and Trevor and Michael. Are they real people? Are they people in the game or something else? In the game. Okay.
The psychologist can rest easy. Those gangsters are just part of the game. Still, it is neglectful of parents to let their kids play these games at such a young age. With this conversation over, the psychologist invited the 3rd kid.
All right. Take another deep breath. We got one more. Think about that house of horrors they were living in, man. He was able to say what he said to mom. You know, kids are recorders, bro. They record everything. You say something in front of a kid, you best believe he's downloading it. You want to put it in that term? He's downloading it. And he'll be able to spit it out verbatim later. They're recorders. And you're seeing it firsthand. All right, let's get to the next one.
6-year-old Matthew. However, Matthew has nothing else to add and shared the same story his 2 other siblings told the psychologist, especially going over the same murder weapon and insults both yelled at each other. With this, Matthew leaves the room, and the next and final kid enters, Julian's oldest son, and, well, most important for this investigation, 10-year-old Isaiah. Since he's much older than his brothers, he possesses a better awareness of the situation, meaning he could provide clearer details about the crime, and the psychologist understands that, which is why she's going to try a different approach with him.
Do you have any questions about that? No. No? Okay. Well, just so you know, no friends or family or anything like that get to listen while we talk, okay? All right. You feeling okay? All right. Well, if at any time you need to take a break or you just need a second, let me know, okay?
With this mature approach, Isaiah doesn't tell much to the psychologist, except one crucial detail. The shooting was a climax, and Isaiah saw the build-up to the shooting long before anyone else.
Isaiah, have there been times when you heard fighting or arguing or something else at home? Tell me about that.
She was just arguing about my mom. And then yesterday he pulled up my mom's work and just threw a bottle on the floor in front of my mom's work.
Is that something that you heard about or something you saw or something?
I heard when she was on the phone telling someone.
Oh, okay. Isaiah, when was it that he hit your mom?
Today.
With Isaiah's last story shared, the interrogation can be wrapped up and summarized. The detectives now know that Julian has a long history of abusing his wife with intent and even desire to kill her, and nothing could have stopped him, even his own kids. And finally, the shooting of their own mother right before their eyes. Now,
that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that he did it, problem within itself. Clearly. But the fact he did it with his kids present to see him do this to their mom. There's no way he should ever walk out of a prison. Like, in my eyes, you've done so much damage. Not just the physical to the mom, the mental to the kids. It's so much done. That can't never be reversed.
Now the detective can use this information to corner Julian, confront him, and force him to make a confession. So they would bring him right back to the room where they started their discussions.
You don't remember your wife?
I don't remember that.
Because your kids do. Your kids are telling us, Daddy, Mama. That's what your kids are saying. But you're gonna sit here and play this crap that I don't remember anything? When you've already said it to the other officers? And I got multiple kids, your kids, saying Daddy, Mommy? And you're gonna sit here and play this game that I don't remember anything. I can't see, I don't remember anything.
The kids went wrong.
Then why are they saying Daddy, Mommy?
No.
You don't know why they're saying that?
No.
Let me guess, your wife is making them say that, right? Is that the route you want to go on?
I don't know.
You know what I find funny, Julian? Or not funny, but disheartening? You've yet to ask me how your wife is doing, whether she's alive or not.
I love her.
Apparently not that much, because you...
I don't remember doing that.
You don't remember doing that?
No.
Tired of hearing the same excuse over and over again, Detective Melinda takes his gloves off and delivers a satisfying beatdown to Julian's poor excuses.
But you know who's going to remember that forever? Her and your kids. Because Daddy and Mommy. And then when they figure all this out and find out Daddy didn't have the courage to be honest about what happened. He sat there and said, I've been drinking for 4 days, I don't remember anything. That's what you want people to remember you as?
I remember begging her on her phone.
Begging her what?
Begging to be with her.
She didn't want to be with you?
I don't know. Go off the phone.
Julian, let me ask you a question.
I can't breathe.
Hey, let me ask you a specific question. You remember there's beer in the car?
There's a bottle of beer.
Do you remember that there's beer in the car?
I remember there's a lot of beer.
Okay, but you don't remember your wife?
No.
So beer's more important than your wife?
I don't want to know what's going on or know if she's okay.
I'm waiting to hear back from El Paso to see if she's okay or if... I don't know if she's even alive right now, dude. I'm trying to find all that out. But I can't even get you to tell me what happened.
All I remember is going inside the house, and that was it.
Okay.
From there, everything's a blur. All drunk, and I'm still drunk.
Hey, that's not what you said to the officers earlier. That's on camera.
That's because I was drunk. And when you're drunk, you say stupid things. I wanted the cops to kill me.
How? How is that going to happen?
I wanted them to kill me.
How? Why?
I don't know.
Cops don't just shoot people for no reason. Why would they have shot you? Did they shoot at you tonight? What do you think?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
After using his own words against him, getting verbally beaten down by the detective, and even bringing up his kids, Julian still refuses to remember anything prior to this interrogation.
Is he a candidate for the El Salvadorian prison? Can he go? They got room. That's all I'm saying. They got plenty of room. If there was ever a candidate.
This makes things even worse for him. If he doesn't talk now, the cops will write down their own version of the story that will be used to prosecute him if Julian does not comply. All Julian needs is to talk.
That's what I'm going to put on my paperwork.
Okay.
When I charge you with attempted murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and all the other charges that go along with this, my final statement in that paperwork is going to say, I don't remember, I was drunk for 4 days. That's what you want me to put in the paperwork?
Okay.
Is that what you want me to put?
I want you to put that because I don't remember.
But I'm also going to put in there, during earlier contact on camera, he stated this, that he did shoot his wife, that he did do this when officers stopped him. Because that's all stuff I can prove, Julian.
Okay.
So hopefully your wife survives, and when I talk to her, I'll tell her what you just said.
Don't say that. I love her.
No, but that's what you're telling. I'm telling her what you tell me.
Tell her that I love her so much.
No.
If I knew what was going on, I knew the severity of my charges, I would be crying my ass off.
I don't think so, dude. I think we're wasting our time. I mean, you can't even man up to what you did.
With this interrogation finally done, Julian is returned back to his cell, where he would spend hours wondering why he ultimately left all his 4 children without their mother. Little did he realize, Jasmine survived. 3 days after the shooting, Jasmine finally opened her eyes. She had gone through an operation that saved her life, and the officers made sure to visit immediately, not only to check on her, but also to finally hear her side of this twisted case.
Okay, Jasmine, I'm Detective one of the detectives they know. We've been checking up on you. They told me that you're able to kind of talk what has happened.
I was telling you that you he walks right in the front.
And who is he?
No,
And what is Julian to you?
Kate's daughter.
With this statement alone, it will be much easier for the cops to make Julian pay for his crimes. Even if Julian doesn't remember anything, Jasmine's phone recorded everything he had said to her.
What do you think? What sparked?
Because I didn't want to be in the
Okay. Was that a verbal conversation you had, or what happened?
He lied to me. He said he was going to come home and actually. So I waited for him.
Okay. And your text messages with him, any threats or anything said over the phone? What were those?
Not all the messages.
Other than the text messages, was there any phone conversation?
Yeah.
What did that?
Hoping you to do what you need to do.
Did he threaten you on the phone before that? What did he say?
What he needs to do is stop what he needs to do.
What do you think that meant? Did he ever mention or threaten you before?
Yeah. Every time I say I don't want to do it, tell me to threaten me.
And then next thing you know, he's there at the house. Okay. And then you're in the kitchen. He walks in. Does he say anything to you?
Says I think I'm fine.
And what do you say?
So what are you doing?
What
are you doing?
Okay, where are the kids at this time?
They were in the room.
In the room?
And they heard the shot. They came running out to see if I was okay.
Had you ever seen him with a gun before?
Yep.
What type of gun?
380.
One can only imagine what horrors Jasmine and her kids had to endure, but in the end, she can finally rest, knowing well that her abuser was finally arrested and will never be able to hurt her again. And what she would tell the officer now will make sure Julian will be gone for a long time.
We did arrest him. He's in jail right now, and we're going to look to keep him. You want to press charges? Well, we're going for him. So I did, based on the information that we had, is essentially attempted murder on you. Because all the kids were there, I charged him as well. Obviously, he was drinking, so the DWI, the aggravated assault on the officer, and then the resist. He's had like 9 or 10 charges on him.
That's only ag assault when you shoot at a cop like that. That's not attempted murder or anything. That's just ag assault. That's interesting. I wonder why that's not the same.
This final statement from Jasmine will be the one to seal Julian's fate come court time. But before Julian's court trial, an internal investigation was conducted on Officer Dollar's decision to use a canine in the arrest. The witnesses were questioned, with Officer Dollar being interrogated separately. In the end, Officer Dollar was found guilty of using excessive force during the arrest. The city of Las Cruces had to pay Julian Valenzuela, the victim of canine mauling, $30,000. However, no money in the world could save Julian from the punishment for his crime. After viciously attempting...
Good. I thought that was about to affect him, or maybe possibly... We've seen incidences to where that dude that was talking about, he was Jeff, and how they messed up the case, and then he ended up walking free. Him and Jeff, his imaginary Jeff, him and Jeff walked free. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yo, Julian about to walk. Man, I'm glad to hear he not.
To murder his wife and rob his kids of their mother, his trial date finally arrived, and he stood in court to answer for his crime. In November of 2022, Julian Valenzuela, a 34-year-old shooter, accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to a maximum sentence of 10 years, followed by 2 years of parole for his wife and at police officers. The city of Las Cruces also paid him $30,000 after a canine mauled him during the arrest on March 4th.
Bro literally just got 10 years. 10 years. Let's go back through this. Shot his wife like multiple times in front of the kids. Went on a high-speed chase, hopped out the car, and fired at the police officers. 10 years. Wow. All right, man. Y'all listen. Obviously, I know nothing. Y'all stay safe out there.